Call this meeting to order with pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tony, can you do a roll call?
Mayor Hein,
Present.
Counselor Johnson,
Present.
Counselor Quaid,
Present.
Counselor Hendrickson,
Present.
Counselor Jeppa,
Present.
Okay, mayoral update. That being that it's the beginning of the new year, that it might be a good time just to kind of review the rules that we've established as far as input from the audience. We've made some changes in the past several months on how we conduct our meetings. So I just thought it wouldn't hurt, in case it's been a while since you've been to a meeting, or never been to a meeting, to review how we want things to go here. First, when I ask if there are comments or questions from the audience, please raise your hand. If you do, when you're recognized, come up to the podium, give your name and your address. You'll then have 3 minutes to make whatever comments or ask whatever questions that you may have. We do ask that you are respectful. We may not always agree with each other, but we can certainly be civil with each other. And that is an expectation at these meetings. Early on the agenda, like right after the mayoral update, is public discussion, and these are for any items that are not listed elsewhere on the agenda. That is the time that you can bring these items up if you have some questions for something that we're not going to be talking about tonight. If it is an item that is listed later on the agenda, I would ask that you wait until we reach that item. Your questions and opinions will be solicited at that time. So that being said, public discussion. Are there any items that are not on the agenda that you would like to discuss?
Justin Alshire, 4802 Arnold Road. Last time I stood at this podium, I asked, when is this all going to end? On multiple occasions, I have asked you to all make this stop. Now look where we are today. This all could have been avoided with a simple apology months ago. And we all could have moved on with our lives. Jamie, we gave you 3 months, 3+ months to fix the retaliation harassment focused on me and my family. This behavior has been allowed to continue and is absolutely unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Yeah.
Sarah Alshire, 4802 Arnold Road. I'm here to discuss how you are controlling the public discourse and using it against the taxpayers. As always, I'm seeking accountability from the city, accountability that I have yet to see. The decision to reduce public comment from 5 minutes to 3 only further limits the ability to address the council. You cut our speaking time and tell us to follow the rules, insisting that the proper way to obtain information is through formal data requests. Yet when we follow those rules, you use those numbers to claim that staff are being overworked. These requests are now being characterized as a burden or used as a system to praise productivity. Open your eyes. The rise in the data request is not an accident. It is a symptom of the public's loss of trust, and the timeline is glaringly obvious. Of the requests cited, half are mine because I was told by Carly to bring the receipts. I was driven after by Tony and Daryl weaponizing CPS against my family. And now Carly has accused me of showing up at my husband's work for speaking at these public meetings. Yet I have never once appeared unannounced at Public Works or City Hall outside of these meetings to address concerns, nor would I feel remotely safe after the attack on my children and my family. You cannot tell the public that the truth is at the city hall and then cascade them for showing up to find it publicly. In August of last year, Counselor Johnson called me mentally ill behind my back after asking questions at a finance meeting that I had to find out through a data request. How ironic. This council and staff family is toxic beyond repair. Also concerning is a lack of honesty in regarding record retention. When I was asked about records slated for destruction, I was met with mockery. Carly, why do you want my work file too? Because we have nothing to hide. Yvette Johnson yelled from the crowd, why would you want that? Lynn Levine, do we really have to put up with her questioning the cities? Yet 10 days later, after dragging her feet, Tony was forced to provide a list, thanks to Councilor Hendrickson standing up for me. Lo and behold, the exact records I was concerned about were on that list authorized for disposal. After she claimed she forgot it was in her box. Now, if that was Justin Alshire who did this, he would be called incompetent, insubordinate, and inefficient. The hypocrisy in this room is overwhelming. If Tony is so great, as you guys claim, how was this not caught before I asked? Especially while knowing I had a request for employees' files in general. The answer is simple. She knew exactly what she was doing and she got caught. This isn't a coincidence. This is gatekeeping tactic. Praising the efficiency of this process is laughable when the process is being used to bury the truth. Remember, you work for the people. The abuse of these positions is deplorable.
Thank you, Tara. I will address one comment in regards to the 3-minute rule. We cut it to 3 minutes from 5 minutes when we added additional comment time throughout the meeting. That's why we reduced it to 3.
It was in reference to the data requests that are not being marked as in the administrative report, data requests are now being counted.
Yes.
Yet you tell the people in order to get the information, they have to do a data request. Yet the taxpayers are seeing now that they are being charged a dollar amount for the data request. Damned if we do, damned if we don't.
The monetary impact is just to show the cost of doing the data request. It's not charged per se, unless you're being charged per page. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying.
Are there any other public discussion items? Okay. Then we will move up to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered routine items and will be voted on with one motion unless a council requests that a specific item be removed for further discussion. Otherwise, there will be no discussion on these items. The first are the minutes from the November 24th, 2025 council meeting. The minutes from the December 8th, 2025 council meeting. Executed claims from December 9th, 2025 to January 12th, 2026, totaling $937,558.80. We also have resolution 2601, appointing a city insurance agent. Resolution 2602, authorizing electronic payments. Resolution 2604, appointing nuisance enforcement officers. And resolution 2606, designating depositories for investment purposes. Council, would you like to remove any of these items for further discussion? If not, I will assume you have reviewed everything.
I think
And I
there's,
do have one correction,
Yeah.
for the claims totals, it should actually read $935,058.80.
Okay. With that correction, I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Councilor Johnson has made the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilor Hendrickson has seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Department reports. Administrative report. Tony?
This is for November and December. The months of November and December have been busy months with end of year reporting and deadlines, as well as getting everything set up for the new year. The final levy was set at the December 8th council meeting, which was a 3.95% increase from 2025, as opposed to the 8.23% increase originally proposed. Council and department heads worked together to find ways to reduce the overall levy to lessen the impact on property owners in Rice Lake. We've also been working on our legislative bonding requests for 2026 and getting our presentations ready for these requests. We will be presenting these requests to our legislators in February and March. 2026 legislative priorities can be found on our website on the Administration Department page under informational links. I continue to encourage residents that have questions on the final levy and budget to reach out to me with their questions. I'm more than willing to sit down with them and answer any questions they may have or to provide them with additional information to explain what goes into the levy numbers. The data request updates, just to November of 2025, there was one request for a quarter of an hour. And then in December 2025, there was 5 requests for 103.25 hours. So for all of 2025, there was a total of 41 requests totaling 133.25 hours, estimated costs $7,276.25. In 24, there was a total of 14 requests, 23 0 requests, 22 1 request, and 21 1 request.
Thank you. Council, any questions? Okay. Financial report.
For the month ending December of 2025, in our checking account, we have $3,450,345.09. In investment accounts, we have $1,627,400.55 or 57 cents, for a total combined cash of $5,077,745.66.
Okay. Building and zoning report.
Just right into the past.
Okay, let's skip then to Public Works.
Public Works for December 2025, starting with the roads department. Throughout December, the city experienced about 6 snow events in total. None of these events really produced large snowfall totals. The weather has been pretty mild, especially temperature wise. Towards the end of December and early January, there was some of the challenging conditions with the freeze thaw, with all the ice on the roads and all the walking pathways around the city buildings and the Veterans Memorial sidewalk. That's a common icy area with the wind blowing snow and stuff over the walkway there too. When the weather conditions allowed, the roads crews, they remain productive, completing vehicle maintenance and building maintenance up here, public works, and a little bit at the fire hall. And then just a small reminder to residents again for winter parking, no parking out on the roads. Especially putting garbage cans, I'd like to touch on that. If you can, I know sometimes it's hard, especially when there's a lot of snow out there, it's hard to get them, close to the road, not have them in the road. But just, it causes damage to the cans and it's cuts back on productivity because the poles are swerving around them, trying to sun and whatnot, so. Utilities, little update on the lift station generator project. That is fully completed as of January 7th. Duluth Electric, they're just waiting for the state inspector to come finalize all of the work that was done. Once that approval is received, coordination will take place with Total Energy Systems to schedule the official startup, and that will include the contractors and I would assume 1 or 2 representatives from the MPCA. They were a big money factor in it with a grant from the state. When that startup date is set, I'll update everybody on that. moving on to the park. The park is still currently closed. And they've been plowing the soccer field parking lot, keep that open, and in front of the pavilion entrance for preparation, when the winter frolic, happens on Sunday, February 1st.
Thank you. Any questions for Shane?
Yeah.
Okay, John, I believe you have an update for us?
Hi, John Williams. We've got Edward Road plans and specs submitted to the Department of Health for permitting. So they're basically finalized at this point. We've got, the county's okay with us crossing under Martin Road, and the rest of the design is done. Gonna have a final estimate here this week, but right now it's around 200,000 to get that completed. If we want to get that advertised and built next year, it's probably a good idea to get that on the agenda here in the next couple of meetings. Make sure that we get competitive bidding on that, not waiting till the last minute, especially since they're basically ready to go. The Department of Health has never given me any trouble on the design, so I think it's just whatever process they have to go through, it should be set to go. So, other than that, that's where we're at. The burden.
Thank you. Tony, can we get that on the agenda? The next meeting or two?
Sure, yep. Yeah,
Great.
add it on there.
Any questions for John?
Hey, John, how long is the permitting good for from Minnesota Department of Health?
Once they approve it,
Correct.
years. I don't know the exact number, but it's years that it's
Okay.
good for, yeah.
All right, good to know, thank you.
John, will that be a directional drill under the road? surface?
Yeah, we're gonna have to, yeah, we can't do much to Martin, other than when we have to make the connection, we have to dig it up a little bit, but they won't let us close the road, so.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, thank you. Okay, let's jump back up to
Sewer crossing?
building and zoning.
Out of there. Oh, okay.
Apologies for not multitasking very well this evening. I'm working remotely. All right, in December, we had one commercial plumbing permit, one land disturbance, one residential demolition, 3 residential mechanical, 2 residential over-the-counter permits, 1 right-of-way, 1 sign, and 1 wetland delineation. Total valuation was $64,441.49. Total fees, $924.
All right. Questions for Carly? And let's do animal control.
All right, I'm sorry it's not up there. We had a dog brought in to Animal Allies. That dog was reclaimed, the owner will be fined. And then we had 2 cats, brought in on 2 separate dates as well. I have not received the billing from Animal Allies for those yet.
Okay. All right, thank you, Carly. Chief, Fire Department?
All right, for December, we had a total of 38 calls for service, 32 medicals, 2 structure fires, 2 carbon monoxide alarms, 1 gas odor, and then 1 lift assist. And then 2025 overview. 2025 marked a year of exceptional service, growth, and community engagement for our department. We achieved new milestones, expanded our team, and continue to uphold high standards of safety, professionalism, and excellence. Service performance, we had total calls for service was a record-breaking 359 calls. That surpassed our previous high of only 279, which was an increase of about 28%. This resulted in 2,150 individual responses by department personnel. Call nature broke down as 75% medical in nature and then 25% fire related. We were able to maintain 100% response rate with no calls missed by our department. with an average response time of 8 minutes and 57 seconds from the time of page to the time that we showed up at your door. I want to emphasize that that is a extremely fast volunteer response.
Yeah.
It's something that we're very proud of to have held for 2 years in a row, staying right around that 9-minute mark.
It's excellent.
Trends for the increase in service demand, we don't have any factual data that, tells us exactly why, our call volume was so much greater this year. But, just based on kind of some of the stuff that we've been seeing, we have an aging population demographic here in Rice Lake, but we're also seeing growth within Rice Lake too. The evolving commercial landscape as well, that has led to an increase in calls. And then, mutual aid to our neighboring jurisdictions as well, that's been elevated over the last year as well. Community involvement, we participated in 16 community events, that included, public education sessions, fire prevention activities, medical standbys, fundraisers, and then other, community support initiatives that were requested. Safety achievements, personal safety, we had 0 injuries reported among fire personnel this year. Civilian safety, there were no fire-related civilian injuries or fatalities. And then property impact, once again, for a second year in a row, fire-related dollar loss within Rice Lake, was very minimal. Training, and development, we conducted 642 individual training sessions this year, totaling over 1,800 hours of training and professional development. And then we had 3 members that achieved their Instructor 1 certification and then our Officer 1 certifications. And then mutual aid and growth, we provided 8 consecutive days, of 24-hour support to the Brimson community, as you all are aware. And then throughout 2025, we were able to welcome 5 new members to the department, which strengthened our team and enhanced our service capabilities. One of those did move on from us after, unable to find housing here within Rice Lake. So all in all, it was an excellent year, and, we're looking forward to 2026.
Nice job. Any questions for the chief?
But could you just touch on a little bit on the awards banquet?
We're gonna be conducting our awards banquet here for our department personnel, later this month.
Okay, sheriff's report.
In December of 2025, we had 173 calls for service or ICR generated in the city of Rice Lake. From my quick math that I just did back there, it looked like 42 of them were traffic stops. 8 were accidents or vehicles in the ditches, which were in part by that freezing and thawing and refreezing that we had. And then a handful of medical calls, most of which are handled by Rice Lake Fire. We show up on some of them. One of them included a in-home birth. That all went very well. So, a big month.
Well, that's something you don't hear all the time.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to new business. We have executed claims, Pine Forest Properties. Claims from December 9th, 2025 to January 12th, 2026, totaling $4,670.19. I believe this is a escrow refund. Any questions? All right, then I'll look for a motion to approve.
I got a question, actually. I just want to make sure I understand this. This is somebody who never paid taxes and it should be refunded.
This was a PUD escrow. They put money in escrow until the job is complete, then we refund the escrow amount.
For zoning application.
I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Pine Forest property claim for $4,670.19.
Counselor Hendrickson has made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Counselor Quaid has seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
I'll abstain.
Counselor Johnson will abstain. We have a second one that is not on my agenda. Could you read that one to us?
So it is executed claims for, Officer Jecka for his 2025 fire department stipend in the amount of $2,500.
Any questions? Okay. I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Counselor Jecka's $2,500 stipend.
Counselor Hendrickson has made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Counselor Johnson has seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Counselor Jecka will abstain. Motion passes. Okay, let's move on now to gambling permit for Benedictine. Tony, any details on this?
This is for their raffle. Real quick. I think there are 4 dates here. February 7th. April 11th, October 10th, and November 14th. So I'll be held at the other place bar in Grove.
I believe we get this application every year.
We do, yes.
Counselors, any questions? Comments? Then I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the Benedictine gambling permit.
Counselor Jecka has made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll support.
Counselor Quaid has seconded. Are there any comments or questions from the audience regarding this?
I just have a question for the community club as far as like holding a bingo. Should we be getting a permit?
I don't believe
Maybe.
bingo needs permits.
Well, that's what it says right there, bingo. It's being looked at. Okay.
It's based on your prices there.
Yeah, I just know that we're gonna be doing 2 this next year, so the total revenue might be more than it ever has been. We're doing spring and fall, so maybe it's something I can look into.
Yeah.
But it's in this building, so I don't want anybody to get in trouble.
I appreciate that. Carly, I noticed you making some comments. Do you have information on that?
Check with the Minnesota Department of Revenue.
Okay,
That's who oversees the,
yeah,
so.
I'll bring it up.
okay.
Pull this up and their contact information is on here. And I think the IRS information. Yeah, Minnesota Secretary of State and IRS are all listed on here. They'll
We
be
made
able to-
almost 700 last time, so I would assume that with the combine of social media and presence, I'm
Mhm.
hoping that we get
Mhm.
by the end of next year.
Okay, excellent. Okay, any other comments from the audience? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Planning Commission reappointments. We have 2 people that are currently on the Planning Commission and their term has expired. They have graciously agreed to serve another 3-year term. The members are Katie Wukolich and Pat McDonald. Thank you, by the way, very much.
With a pleasure.
So what we have here is just, need a motion to approve both members for another term. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to reappoint planning commission members Katie Bukovic and Pat McDonald for another 3-year term.
Counselor Quaid has made the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Counselor Henderson has seconded. Any comments from the audience?
You win.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
St. Louis County zoning amendment, informational only. Tony?
Yeah, so in the packet is information for their St. Louis County's public hearing, which is going to be held Thursday, February 5th, for their proposed amendments to their zoning ordinance. Just informational if anyone wants to attend. I believe there is a virtual option as well.
Okay. Thank you. And this was a new one. Snow delivery for the bear release starts.
Yeah.
I love it. Tony, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so they reached out asking if, we would be able to deliver some snow just for the crossings on, both at Billy's Bar and then on West Tisher Road where the state trail crossing is. They're just looking for snow to be dumped in these locations, and then they have other volunteers that actually will go and spread it and remove it for the race itself. So just need approval to be able to use city equipment and time to go ahead and deliver some snow for them.
Okay.
I think we have extra sitting around here.
You think?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have a great deal in the fallen parking lot that I would gladly donate.
Now, who's done this in the past, you know?
I don't know, did they mention to you? No.
Yeah, Mother Nature. I'm not sure. I did not ask.
They've usually pulled in snow off of the ditches on the roadway, but we're so minimal snow this year.
And I know they normally, I've been at that starting event several times. They'll leave the Billy's parking lot and then they have at least one lane of the road up and over the hill till they get to the snowmobile trail. So they were just fishing it out of the ditches.
Any other comments, council, or questions?
We have an idea about how much this will cost.
Not really. I think, were they asking for 3 loads at both locations?
It sounded like 3 to 4 at both
Okay.
locations.
How long do you think it would take to load and deliver?
2 hours, that's it.
What was that?
It depends on where you're getting the snow from. 2 to 3 hours. Hear me? Yeah. That'd be max, I would. Oh, Mark, I am thinking of.
I think we have on Schultz Road.
That's what I figured on.
I think the value would be $150 an hour. Or Rice Lake to blow snow up and haul it over there. Shane, do you have snow? Where do you have snow? Schultz Road?
Yeah, Schultz or Salt Fire, all right next to Public Works.
Let's do that. So we're looking at a max $300, $400 in value.
What do you think?
I'm okay with that.
I think it's a nice community effort, something we can do to help out. It does bring some nice business to Rice Lake. Okay, I'll look for a motion.
We're good for it.
Comment?
After the motion, I'll ask, yes. Motion,
I'll make a motion to approve the snow over to the event.
okay, Counselor Johnson's made the motion, do I have a second?
I'll support.
Counselor Jecka has seconded. Audience,
How many employees were you guys planning
on using for
on?
this?
Yeah.
Shane, how many employees do we think we would need?
1 to 2.
1 to 2.
Could use 1.
It'll be your call. Any other comments or questions? All right, then, council. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We'll deliver snow. Okay, moving on in the agenda to first readings. Now, the next 8 items. We will have discussion tonight. We will not be making any motions. We will not be voting. It will be brought back to the next meeting. So the first one, 2026 annual agreements. We have the 2026 AAHS service contract and the SWCD service contract. Tony?
Yeah, so this is our contract with Animal Allies for, dogs and cats for the city. I believe everything is the same as it was last year. No changes to any of the prices or anything.
Okay.
Nice.
We've always paid that $1,200 just for administrative.
Yes, we
I
have.
didn't realize that.
Yep.
This year.
Yeah.
Okay. And the service contract with SWCD.
Yep, so it's a South St. Louis Soil and Water Conservation District. We contract with them for, their technical expertise on Wetland Conservation Act. So it's RC Boheim who helps us process our wetland applications. Again, it's the same amount we've been paying him since we started this contract in 2017, 2018.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Council, any questions? Comments?
With the Animal Allies contract, is that, like, do we pay these fees only if the animal control officer drops off an animal, or is it if any animal found in the loop and
Any
city
animal.
limits of?
Long and restless. Any questions from the audience? All right, we'll bring this back to the next meeting, right?
Yes.
2026 summary budget, our revenue and expense summary. Council, we looked at this at our finance meeting earlier this evening. We just need to get final approval for Tony to send it to the state. So, well, no, we're not motioning. We're doing it next time. So review it again. Make sure you bring any questions to the next meeting. 2026 LGA, local government aid. Again, we reviewed this at the finance meeting earlier this evening. So I don't know that we need to do further discussion right now unless something's popped to mind since the 5 o'clock meeting. All right, then we will bring this to the next meeting as well and vote on it. Capital improvement plan updates. For the benefit of the audience, Tony, you want to do some of the highlights on this?
Sure, yep. So there are a few proposed additions to it. One is the fire department auto extrication equipment. They're looking to replace their current equipment probably around 2030, 2031. Estimated amount for that right now is $65,000. Also, just an update to the SCBA air packs. Assuming they're going to need to replace those in 2030 as well, 11 to 16 units. And again, that estimated price for that would be $180,000. An update to Cooper Road, we had discussed doing paving more of the approach up to Eagle Lake Road. And then have recently decided that the funds would be better spent on upgrading the turnaround for that. We don't have numbers for that yet, but that will be coming back to council for approval later on. The Martin Road turn lane on Stavanger Road. This was something that the county was requiring when more development happened in this area. So we had estimated that project to be about $70,000. This is actually included in the Rice Lake Road reconstruction corridor project, so there will be no cost to the city for this project. And then we have another new one added on here, the Polstead Pump House stucco project. It's for stuccoing the exterior of the pump house to help prevent our insulation. I'm hoping to get that done this year, and the estimated cost is $18,250.
Any questions or comments from the audience? Council, any questions that popped up since our 5 o'clock meeting? Okay. Then let us move on to the 2026 annual resolutions. We have resolution 2609, appointment resolution. You have certain ones highlighted.
Yep, these are the ones where council usually discusses who would like to be on which committees.
Okay.
I believe we just went through this in August,
We
so
did.
don't know if everybody's happy staying where they're at and you want any changes or not, but. So I just, highlighted the ones that
Okay.
kind of up for discussion.
Well, I will read out for benefit of the audience. The highlighted, we have acting mayor Bob Quaid, airport board of adjustment Mike Hendrickson, joint airport zoning board Mike Jecka and Mike Hendrickson, public works liaison supervisor Daryl Johnson and Mike Hendrickson, human resources supervisor Mike Jecka and me. Fire department liaison is Bob Quaid and me. Planning commission liaison Mike Jecka. MIC liaison Bob Quaid. DUAC liaison me. Weed inspector Bob Quaid. Is everybody in agreement with the jobs you've got?
Yep. Yeah, I'm fine with where I'm at.
I'm okay.
Okay, then we will bring this back to, well, any comments from the audience? Oh, yep. Head judges compensation is going to move from $12.50 to $13 an hour. Member judges going from 11 to 11.50 an hour. Okay. Any comments from the audience? All right, then we'll bring this back to the next meeting and vote. Resolution 2603, designating council finance liaison. Tony, you want to go over this?
Sure, so our new updated, purchasing policy requires for any purchases over $5,000 that are a emergency purchase, meaning a road washed out or something like that, where it's going to be more than 5,000. And it's something that needs to be repaired quickly before we have a council meeting where it can be discussed. There are some, council liaisons that are appointed to approve those purchases from requests from either Public Works, Fire Department, or Administration Department, General Department, Planning and Zoning Department, and the Building Department. The highlighted names correlate with the names that are appointed as liaisons in the previous resolution we just reviewed. So as long as everything stays same there, I'm assuming everything will stay the same on this one.
Okay. Any questions?
I think, on the public works side, I think I'm the other liaison. So if we want to switch that, Bob, or are you comfortable there?
That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
thank you.
You're right.
So we could switch that and, for the next meeting.
Comments or questions from the audience? Okay. then move on to resolution 2605, designating depositories and corporate authorization. Tony?
One is just designating where we are depositing our city funds. We are currently at Friends and Bank and Trust and not anticipating any changes with that, so just authorizing that and then talking about the signers on our checking account. So currently it would be Mayor Heim and then Bob, if he is again going to be our vice mayor. So those would be the only, I guess Bob would be the only one on this resolution that we would need to update if there are any changes made.
Okay. All right, comments or questions from the audience? All right. Resolution 2607, adopting assessment. Both 2607 and 2608 are adopting assessment. Two separate properties.
Correct, yep. Yeah, so these are voluntary trunk fee assessments, so we've already entered into an agreement for these. Their first payment would be one of their property taxes payable in 2027. So one of them is for Joe Rezidlo on East Calvary Road. And then 2608 is for Mike Henderson on Riverside Road.
Okay. And they have agreed to this.
They have, yes.
All right. So we'll vote on this next time. Environmental assessment worksheet for Elite. Tony, you want to talk about this?
Sure, so we are going through the process of an environmental assessment worksheet for Minnesota Power or Elite for their project that they're proposing on Stebner Road. Attached in there is kind of the environmental assessment worksheet, the open comment period, which I believe is 30 days, correct? That period has closed, so SEH, our engineers, are now kind of compiling all of the questions and their responses, and we'll be providing a report to council at our next meeting. Basically, what they're looking for is for council determination if an EIS is necessary, environmental impact study. At this time, we don't see that as something that is necessary, but again, we're waiting for the final report from SEH.
And we'll have that next meeting.
Yes.
Mike, your thoughts on this one?
So I'm not 100% familiar with it. If this, so the normal course of events is if an EAW is required, and I'm assuming one was here,
Yes.
that's done. It is done under the supervision of the city. It can be done by Minnesota Power. Typically your engineer would review it, or it could be done by your engineer or planner or other consultants. But it ultimately comes to you for what's called a negative declaration. And that is a question of whether, exactly as Tony said, whether an environmental impact statement is needed. If not, you issue what's called a negative declaration, which says we worked it. EAW, which is kind of a broad scope, not terribly in-depth environmental review. That usually takes maybe 6 months to do. If you go through with an environmental impact statement, if you say there are concerns here that need to be addressed more in depth, that would be one reason you might go to environmental impact statement. That is maybe a 1 to 2 year, very detailed, very expensive study. And the project would not go forward from a zoning perspective. Your zoning decision would be until that is done. Issue a negative declaration saying we don't need it, clears the way for the next step in the zone process to be finished.
So the information that's on here, we kind of feel like they don't need an impact statement?
Yeah, from what the worksheet shows, there was nothing significant that popped up in their investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, did we get any comments here?
We did.
We got a couple, okay.
We received several comments that SEH is compiling for us and we'll have response to before the next meeting.
Okay.
Will the engineers be making a recommendation?
Yes. And it sounds like already they're saying they're assuming it's going to be a negative declaration.
Those are from our engineers.
Correct.
There's no conflict of interest in that?
No, so your engineer is really representing the city in looking at it. And saying, okay, we looked at everything here, and they can be the entity that prepares it, that's not unusual.
Okay,
But they're doing it from the perspective of providing the information to you as council. And evaluating that information and making recommendations. You ultimately make the decision. Obviously, you're gonna wanna hear their recommendation.
yeah. Okay.
There's just a lot of information in here to kind of
Yes.
go through and, I just think we just need to make sure that we look at everything.
So they will be at our next meeting to talk about this?
We can ask them to be here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Report and a recommendation.
That would be normal, typical procedure when you see the engineer here to answer any questions the council may have.
Okay. Yeah, I would be more comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions from the audience?
I have a question on the previous for the resolutions with Joe Rosillo, asking to assess taxes. He doesn't even have a structure. Is that in future or? I just know because he's our neighbor and there's 0 buildings there besides car trailers. So I'm wondering how that process works.
This assessment is for trunk fees, correct?
Correct, yep. So they do have plans drawn up and have submitted them for approval.
Okay, so it's for utilities.
Okay, to a future residential, even in an industrial.
That actually, I don't want there to be misinformation out there. It is not a residential.
Oh.
He's proposing to build a shop and that's under our building officials review right now.
Okay,
And so he is wanting to connect to water and sewer for that.
okay, thank you. Any other questions or concerns? All right, let's move on then to records destruction reports, January 6th. There are a list here of reports that are going to be destroyed. Anything out of the ordinary here, Tony?
No, just what we generally go through at the beginning of the years. Going through previous years and marking them for destruction when their retention is up.
Any questions, council? Any questions from the audience? Yes,
Just gonna do a couple of data requests, for, the application for employment. I'd like to get, copies, or that set of copies and, Fair Housing HUD administrative documents. I would like to get, those copies as well, and then the vehicle safety inspection report books.
Sorry.
So and then I have a couple other, data requests I'd like to fill and just, if you guys want to review any of that stuff, but if you could hold off on destroying those records, I'd appreciate it.
you want to give us to Tony? And we won't be voting on this until the next meeting anyway, so. Yes,
What is the cadence for records destruction? What is the typical? I heard her say the beginning of the year, but I just saw it like 2 months ago. I'm just wondering when. Is it just when these boxes show up or is it like on a timeline?
well, I know we look at this at the beginning of every year. It's a normal time to start.
Oh,
Purging,
that's
yes.
understandable.
Um,
We just did it, not the.
Tony, I do recall that we had, destruction since I've been mayor, so in the last 6 months.
Yep.
Why did we do it middle of the year?
Just a box discovered at the Public Works building that
I see.
we went through and found out there was stuff in there that could be destroyed.
Okay, all right.
So
That sounds logical.
just when we come across large box of items, we go through and
Yeah.
see what's in there.
Okay, thank you. Does that answer your question sufficient?
It answers it.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
All right, then, there is no unfinished business, correct?
Nope.
Then I will look for a motion to adjourn.
I will motion we adjourn.
Adjourned. Thank you all for coming tonight.